Council.
What is up, everybody? You are with the Nerfherder Council. I am your host, Oh, this is not live. Are we live? It's giving me an error. I guess we are live. Let's see. All right, anyways, we are live. So, welcome to another episode of the Nerfherder Council. I am your host, John. With me are AJ and Steve. What is going on, guys? Technical difficulties right as I'm trying to do our cool new intro. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I was wondering that too.
Because curveballs at me, man. Who's this? Sorry, who's John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
Change
this crap?
that box in the border of the bottom of the screen. But
So
yeah, the corner of the screen where the little live box comes up, I swear to God, it popped up after you played that little video. So I don't know if it was working or not, but it says we're live now. So
yeah, and apparently we are temporarily blocked from going on Facebook. So look at that.
Oh. Well, are we blocked from your page or from our page?
The show page as well.
What the hell are you doing? I leave Facebook for a year and a half, and now all of a sudden our show is blocked.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's what they all
Look
said.
at that. Well, so we do have a guest host tonight, and I would like to bring him in. So
I'm going to fire off a tweet so anyone looking for us on Facebook knows where to find us.
yeah, pretty much. That really sucks. So anyway,
yeah, that's 22 of our viewers.
My good buddy Sherrick from Lima, down where I play in the band, wanted to jump on tonight. He wants to jump in this Positivity Fest. So let's bring him on. Sherrick, what is going on, man? How are you?
Just happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. We have a cool new intro, and Facebook cannot see it, you know? So I've been temporarily banned from doing that. I do not know why. The show. Yeah, apparently so. You jinxed us, man. I was put in Facebook jail last week on my birthday for 30 it was not 30 days, it was 1 day, but I posted an offensive meme in a group that was for offensive memes. So that was kind of interesting.
Well, what was the meme? Do you happen to have it on hand?
I will send it after the show. It will not go up because, you know, we're already banned from going on Facebook. So let's not do that.
They can't block you again.
I'm not putting it in ours, man. I'm not putting it in ours. That's all I know. So, all right. So let's jump into this now. So the theme of tonight's show is positivity. And Sherrick, real quick, why did you, of all shows, want to jump on when we're going to police ourselves into saying nothing negative?
Well, I don't really have a whole lot of negative things to say. I mean, we all have things that we would do differently or things we maybe wouldn't have done or put in the movies, you know. But overall, like, I love the new trilogy. And we've talked about, you know, doing a show for a while now. And when you posted the link, I was like, oh, I got to hit him up, see if I can get on this one.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, it was just it was such an interesting, you know, topic for you to choose to jump in on. So
I like positivity, man.
Well, there you go. See, you're a nice guy. What can I say?
Right.
So, yeah, so basically tonight we decided that we are going to say nothing but positive things about the sequel trilogy. The sequel trilogy, I'm trying to keep it positive here. The sequel trilogy was not as popular with some fans as it was with others. So we are going to police ourselves, as I put in the description of the show. We are one of the snarkiest podcasts in the galaxy. So for us to actually pull this off, it'll definitely be a huge positive if we can get through this without saying something stupid. So, yeah, I mean, the sequel trilogy really catches a lot of crap from a certain segment of the fan base. And we wanted to kind of flip the script on that and only discuss the stuff that we really, really like about the sequel trilogy and keep it very positive. So I am going to start out with The Force Awakens for reasons that anybody who has watched the show or listened to the show a few times knows. That's why I'm starting out with this one, because I'm being positive right off the bat. The Force Awakens, I'm just going to say it. It was amazing to see Han Solo and Chewie back in the Millennium Falcon. So that, you know, I don't know where you guys stand on that, but we'll start out right there. So, and remember, no negativity.
Oh, you could just go movie by movie. That's easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever
Is it
whatever you
super-
want to do.
I think it's probably too low hanging fruit, but just in case, 7 actually existed. We got new Star Wars, and we loved it. Like the 3-year hype leading up to that movie was fantastic, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Wow, thanks for the enthusiasm, guys.
We're all trying to figure out how
Yeah.
how not to say anything negative. So, Sherrick, so why was that a big deal for you? Episode 7.
So at the time I was married, and when all the hype leading up, I told my stepson, I was like, when it comes out, we're going to IMAX. So we went to Fort Wayne. I took him and his buddy, and we went and watched it in IMAX 3D. And I don't know about you guys, I can assume you did, but I felt like a little kid again. I mean, all the nostalgia. I mean, I didn't feel that with the prequels. I felt nostalgia, but I didn't feel like I felt when The Force Awakens started. And it just felt like Star Wars again, and we had waited so long for that to come back and have that feeling. And it just, I know like the story beats, everybody says, it's, too much like A New Hope. But to me,
That was a negative. That was a negative.
No, you didn't. Let me finish. To
No,
me, that was a good
You just
thing.
said that's what people were saying.
Yeah. But to me, that was a good thing because so many people gave the prequels crap, right? And to me, they needed to do that. They needed to bring us back on board. And I thought it was a great beginning to it. And I feel like fan-wise, majority of the fans love The Force Awakens. My personal opinion, I feel that's the case for that reason.
Yeah, I think the majority of fans did love it. I would agree with that.
And to what you were saying, Chewie, we're home. I got chills
Yeah,
when that happened.
AJ and I were watching that in our hotel room in 2015 in Anaheim, and we were jumping around acting like complete animals when that happened. It was just unbelievable to see that. And yeah, I mean, you had heard that Han was coming back, like the big 3 were coming back, so you knew it had to involve Chewbacca. But to actually see it after all that time was just, I felt like a kid again. It was awesome.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, and to go off what you were saying, the hiatus of between the movies and stuff, like 2005 to 2015, 10 years, to just see Star Wars in the first place, and then all the little fan services, about seeing the Falcon when they called it a hunk of junk, and then sitting over there, the Chewie we're home moment, all that stuff was just amazing. And honestly, like early on, I guess as the 3 movies went on, I'm not trying to be negative, I really liked Finn in the first one, and it kind of went downhill through the 3 movies. That's not negative. That's just
no, that's a negative. That's a
no,
negative.
it's not. That's just an opinion. I didn't say he was horrible. I just said
it doesn't matter. That's a negative.
No, it's
Opinion
not.
or not. That's a negative. Yes, it is.
No, it's not. You're an idiot.
Yes, it is.
There's negativity right there.
Now it's 2.
He's speaking facts.
Yeah.
All right,
the thing Force Awakens had going for it was the nostalgia factor, right? Like everyone was happy to get 1, 2, and 3 because it was new Star Wars, but it was so different from the original trilogy, it didn't really scratch that itch. Like we all agree that Revenge of the Sith is the easiest of the prequels to get into because it's the most like the original trilogy. So when you go on and do episode 7, and it's just this big nostalgia trip where, you've got the Millennium Falcon back, you've got Han, you've got Chewie, you've got Leia, you've got mentions of Luke. We thought we were going to get him. Yeah, it was actually I like the way that actually played out. In hindsight, I'm not bothered at all by Luke not being in the movie. It was exactly what, like Sherrick said, it's exactly what the franchise needed to get everybody back on board. And it felt awesome after literally at that point, a 33-year hiatus from that like style of Star Wars to get that back again. That was amazing.
Well, yeah. And to what you're saying, it had the look again.
Mm-hmm.
Like the prequels were shiny, and to have that used look and that just that feeling that, oh, I'm back in this world again. Thank goodness.
Yeah. And I just to finish my last thing, Finn off to the side. I loved Rey. Like I think I've touched on that before on the show. Like the moment that they showed her and riding the stupid whatever the part of the AT-AT down the sand dune and all that, I was just like, this is a really cool character already. So yeah, that's where I was going with the Finn thing to begin with.
Yeah, totally agree. Joseph Wren says the first minutes of Finn and Poe together is one of my favorite scenes in film. Period. I can't say favorite scenes in film, but I will say that was awesome.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that bromance was established, and there was that really cool escape and everything,
Yep.
and it was
like a buddy cop movie.
Yeah,
a buddy cop
right.
movie. Yep.
And I will say a negative that turned into a positive. I don't know if you guys remember, but after episode 7 came out, I kept saying that Poe was like a dollar store Han Solo. Like I really thought that's where he was coming off as. And I really, by the end of the 3 movies, he was probably like my second favorite character out of all the new things. So like I really had to backtrack on that statement. Like I really like Poe by the end of these things. So
yeah. I think for me
Poe is actually Space Maverick.
Yeah, that's probably more like
He's
it.
just
Yeah.
that hotshot who's better than everybody, thinks he knows better, has to get slapped down by the man a little bit, and then ends up being on top anyway.
Yep.
Yep, that's a good way to phrase it. Yeah, sticking with the positive theme here. Yeah, I think I agree with you, Steve, on the Poe character. With the first movie, I mean, the new characters were cool,
Right.
and it was difficult not comparing them to the original big 3. But as the movies went on, like you became more invested in them, and I think The Last Jedi really kind of established Poe as that really cool character that you really wanted to get behind.
Yeah.
When he really kind of showed his ego and attitude and stuff, and ultimately showed that he was very fallible, and he wasn't just that perfect hotshot, perfect pilot guy that was just going to win every battle. So yeah, I agree with that. I completely agree with that.
And I'm sure we'll touch on it once we get to episode 9. But since we're talking about Poe now, like in episode 9, when he comes in to save the day in the X-wing and leads that charge and stuff like that was actually probably one of the coolest moments of the 3 movies too. Like when he comes out of nowhere, I forget where the hell were they at when that, or was that episode 8? Shit, I'm being brain dead right now. Why am I?
That's a negative.
Why am I drawing a blank?
What color what color was the X-wing? Was it black or was it white or orange?
It was the orange one. It was
Yellow,
it was after
black.
the first one was gone already.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's got to be 9.
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember like that scene of him flying in and kind of saving the day almost. I'm like, oh, that was actually like the way that came in and the timing was probably one of the coolest damn scenes of all the movies, honestly.
All right, so who's got a positive for The Rise of Skywalker? We've hit on The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi so far, so let's get one in for The Rise of Skywalker. Who's got something?
I can do this all day.
Frick.
Not to be Captain America, but dude, Lando.
All right. Oh yes.
Yeah,
Who was more
Lando,
thrilled to be in
for
that
sure.
movie, Lando or us to see him in that movie? Because
Right.
Yeah.
the way he delivered those lines, I was like we've
Yep.
seen Billy D. Williams over the last few years, and I thought like maybe he had lost a step, but then he shows right back up in the costume. I'm like, where's this guy been? Holy crap!
That big cheese and smile, like Wookiees always stand out in a crowd. You're like, yes, it's Lando. Yes, like he's back.
I don't know
He had
about
the
you
exact
guys,
same
but
energy. He had the same energy when he was saying hello to them as he did when he kind of did the false intro on Bespin, where he's like, "How you doing, you old pirate?" Like,
Yeah,
he had like that energy. It was so cool.
Yeah. All right, Sherrick. So you wanted to jump in on this one too.
I
So
do.
obviously,
I loved all the fan service in The Rise of Skywalker. Like every
I did
time
too.
something hit, I was like, yes. Like I just
Yeah.
got excited.
I have to say that's one of my favorite parts of it too. I know a lot of people kind of bagged on it, but I personally loved just sitting there and them going, hey man, you've been a fan since you were 4 years old, so here's this for you, and here's this for you, and here's this for you. And I was like, yes. Like, it was cool for me. I mean, I get it where some other people might not have liked that. Even some fans, that have been around as long as AJ and I have. I understand that. But I loved it. I thought it was really fun.
I know you and I don't know about if you guys do, but I love The Last Jedi. There's some things,
Yes.
Whatever. But I think the fans overwhelmingly scared Disney, and they were like, oh, we need to do everything we can to bring everybody back on board. And sometimes for some people, it's too much. But for me, I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I guess I can kind of understand. People don't want to be spoon-fed sometimes, and I've always said on the show that I like everything to be original and something new. But to me, it was kind of like that beat up old T-shirt and pair of jeans that you just go back to, where you feel comfortable and you feel great, and it's just nice to go back to that. So, all right, so we got a couple comments. Let's jump to these and see what you guys think. So Nick Hartley says, "What about Maz's castle?" I would agree with that one.
Is he saying that he liked that part, or is he just answering what I was asking about the damn Poe X-wing thing? Because I think that might be it.
Oh,
I
he
think
could
that
be.
is what you were saying when he comes in, and
I think that might have been
before Finn realizes he's still alive.
Yeah.
I mean, okay. Well, I misread it then, but still, Maz's castle is a good one. There we go. We got Maz's castle. I loved it. It was like an upgraded version of the cantina, and all these cool aliens and stuff. And like you said, Sherrick, you said it felt like Star Wars again. And they had that crazy song that J.J. Abrams wrote, that goofy space music, and oh man, it was fun.
Yeah, we've pulled that a couple of times for the show.
Yeah,
Java Flow.
Yeah. Right. All right, so Nick's got another one, and then I want to get to one from Joe. So Nick also says, the nostalgia in the moment when you realize the Red 5 X-Wing is pulled from the water. Joe said that the whole Finn and Poe thing is like one of his favorite scenes in cinema. That right there is one of mine. When you see Luke finally get the X-Wing out of the water, that callback was absolutely amazing for me.
Yeah, I remember sitting in the theater and I just leaned over to Gwen and I was like, he finally pulled the damn thing up.
Yep.
Actually, my favorite part of that beginning of that scene was him catching the lightsaber. I mean, I know some people are like, oh, that's him throwing shade at Ryan, but whatever. Like, as soon as he caught it, I was like, I think my heart skipped a beat. I was like, Force Ghost Luke, yes.
Yep. That was oh man, it's like it just I think that was like the answer to the fans that were complaining about The Last Jedi, that had the opinion that, oh, that's not Luke. That was them going, okay, well, you want superhero Luke, well, here you go. Now he's the ultimate Jedi. He's a Force ghost and he's doing all these cool things. And I was totally fine with that because I loved his portrayal in The Last Jedi. I think that's one of the best things Star Wars ever did. But it's also cool to see him, end up as superhero Luke and finally, become the super Jedi everyone thought he was. So
honestly, and we've had this conversation many times too. I used to think, again, keep the negativity out of it. I used to think Luke was kind of a baby in the original trilogy. And honest to God, I had zero problem. I know that's no, but you said sequel trilogy, so I can say what I want about the original.
No, it's got to be throughout the whole show. Now you got to phrase
you're
things.
Changing the rules.
No, it's not changing the rules if we didn't establish. No,
John's changing the rules.
Okay, but no,
My show,
I honestly, I know it's kind of in the Star Wars community frowned upon, but I absolutely loved Luke in the sequel trilogy. Like, I honestly was not a fan of him in the original trilogy. I thought he was a little bit of a baby and a little whiny, and like old crotchety Luke was amazing to me. Like I loved the old man attitude and stuff like that. Like I absolutely loved every bit of that.
Well, like we said, that's the natural progression. You would
Yeah.
think that over 30 years, I mean, you know, and I think it plays into the fact that, you know, Star Wars, George Lucas always wanted it to be like a used kind of wanted it to feel like a lived in kind of a world. And to have Luke just go from awesome Luke to superhero Luke and just always be good and nothing affect him over the course of 30 years would not have gone along with that.
Yeah.
So I think
the guy's
awesome
doing
writing.
nothing but living on an island by himself, essentially, with the caretakers and eating nothing but porgs and drinking green milk and stuff for God knows how many years. Like, of course, the guy's going to be angry. You know, he didn't want to deal with any of this Jedi crap again. That's why he was pissed that Rey showed up with the lightsaber. He didn't want any of this in his life anymore. That's why he hid over there. Of course, he's angry.
Steve, don't forget.
Oh,
Go ahead, Sharon. Sorry.
I always felt like The Last Jedi, it seemed like he was trying to show that they're human, even though, you know, they're in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
But we all make mistakes. We all fall down and we all come back up eventually.
Yep.
And to me, he humanized them. Almost every character in that movie, Poe made mistakes. He came back, you know, brought himself back up at the end, you know, and made the right decision. Same with Luke, you know, eventually. So, I mean, that's the stuff I took from The Last Jedi and why I love it, you know?
Yeah, like, I
That's
mean,
that necessary part that was the core thesis of that movie was, like Ryan Johnson said, he wanted to have every main character face their biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Because you had to set them up. Like that, you know, one of the early knocks on Rey was that she was a Mary Sue. Like she was just all powerful and too powerful and OP. And, you know, so she got knocked down a peg in Last Jedi so she could rise back up again in the finale. Like that's just dramatic tension right there. That's how you do it.
yeah, and like, and when Luke was coming up as training for the Jedi and all that stuff, like he had this thought process that everything was so perfect, you know, that the Jedi Order was just this perfect thing. And as the years went on, like you were saying, that like he realized that a lot of the stuff that was advertised, I guess, for being a Jedi was not what it was. And he was just trying to tell Rey, like, hey, this is the real life aspect of this stuff, not what you seem to think it all is. You know? So he was just trying to break her down and tell her what real life was, not what the hell the advertisement poster said out there on Jakku, you know?
Yeah, he was basically reading the headlines on Twitter without clicking into the news stories.
Yeah. Yeah, there was posters on Jakku. It was Luke, and it just looked like the Uncle Sam posters that said "We need you" on it. Stuff.
Nice. All right, so here's a good one, which I think everyone can agree with. Let's see here. Okay. Real quick from Nick again. Yoda spins it positive too. Failure is the best teacher. Totally agree with that.
Yep.
Joseph Wren, here we go. Sheev Palpatine. Again, we always use the term low-hanging fruit, and this may be, but we have to go with it. I mean, as much as we were like, I don't know about bringing back the Emperor, it was so cool to see him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And especially...
we may not have agreed with how or anything, but go back to Star Wars Celebration and what was the absolute coolest moment that happened.
Oh.
I mean, you guys were there, and I had to watch it. But,
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as I heard that laugh, I got chills. I was like, yes.
Honestly, being there live, it was even cooler after they did it, and the whole place was like, "Oh my god, the Emperor!" And then the lights come up, and all the lights on stage are red, and you see somebody walk out on stage, and there's this delayed reaction. I was in the back, and I knew right away. I was like, "That can only be one person." And sure enough, all of a sudden the cheers start going up, and he stands there. All of a sudden, it gets signed here. Go ahead, AJ. Say the line.
Roll it again.
And then the mic drop. Oh, that was so cool. That was so cool. And like we said, I mean, how they handled it. Well, you know, this is a positive show. We've discussed, you know, our grievances with that.
It may have been better.
Yes. But just having him in there was awesome. And I think that was more of that fan service that was so cool. It was just so amazing. You're like, oh my God, the ultimate bad guy. and it's, to me, it was, it was very cool because you had the Darth Vader stuff that where, Kylo Ren, he's getting to know that his father was redeemed, and we know the parts about how Vader, his redemption story, really. I mean, let's just say it like it is.
Yeah.
But Palpatine, no. He did the opposite of what everyone, or a lot of fans, wanted Luke to do. And a lot of fans wanted Luke to be like cool Luke and then go superhero Luke, just in this straight upward arc. And Palpatine did the opposite. He started out like kind of shady and then just went bad, and then he ends up the worst ever and just never, ever turned around. There was never that head-scratcher moment for him where it's like, yeah, is this the right thing? Should I be doing it? It was like, no, I'm just going to kill everybody and F you.
Yep.
Yep.
Like, no sense in derailing this train. He knew where he was going, man.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, it's...
When the video games started telling the story of Operation Cinder, I was like, oh, man. Even when that guy's dead, he had a contingency plan to take everyone with him.
Yeah,
like, that is dag nasty evil.
Yeah, he's like, if I lose, everybody's gonna lose. All right.
Yep.
So,
were you guys kind of hoping they would bring that into the Rise of Skywalker, like mention Operation Cinder and kind of like build him up even more, like for that exact reason? AJ, I mean, what do you guys think, Steve, Sherrick? You guys, what do you guys think?
I thought the like announcement time and all that, I thought it at least would have played into the video game to at least name drop it in there. Like it would have been like kind of slightly blurring the lines a little bit but yeah, it could have been in there. I definitely would have been all right hearing about it in that movie for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rise of Skywalker might be getting better as it goes on, because a lot like the Clone Wars connected a whole bunch of stuff for the prequels and kind of like validated those events. They're telling so many stories and connecting little dots between like the Mandalorian and with the cloning technology there, and the comics are the current Darth Vader arc. He's actually on Exegol right now with who's the Sith assassin from Rise of Skywalker? Ochi,
yeah,
Ochi someone.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so they're actually on Exegol right now, and this takes place before Return of the Jedi, after Empire Strikes Back. So like they're telling all these stories now that actually connect Episode 9 a lot more tightly to the continuity. So I think it's going to get better with time, because we're going to have all these stories that kind of like just set it in its place instead of seeming like this outlier that we're like, well, where did that come from?
Yeah.
So it should be cool.
Well, to answer your question, John, like we've had this discussion where I was, for the most part, just, mainly a movie fan, right? And I kind of dipped in and watched certain episodes of Rebels and Clone Wars here and there. But with The Mandalorian, it's made me want to learn more about characters and lore that I didn't maybe give a chance before. And like you're saying, AJ, I think that's also reaching out to other fans that are like me. And it's like makes you want to, oh, where'd this character come from? What's their story? And then you go back and watch other stuff. And I think, like you said, that's how they can make the Rise of Skywalker better and loved by more people, is especially with Disney Plus and the TV shows. They can bring in a lot more of the game stuff, the comics, and bring in story that some of you, like guys that know more about it, into the shows. And then that'll make people like me go out and search to learn more about those characters and tie it all together. And I think they're learning a lot of that from Marvel. You know what I mean? Like Feige's really laid that down, like how to do it. Yep. And I feel like, Favreau and Filoni are taking kind of that. I mean, Filoni, learned from George too, but they're seeing what Marvel's done and they're like, okay, this works. And all these people are like, bring in this other stuff that's already out there. Stop thinking you have to create a whole bunch of new stuff when we've got all this world that already exists. And we can tie it all together. And I'm excited for everything they've announced and where it's going.
I agree. So Joseph Wren is trying to bait me. He says
He's trying
says-
really
Wow.
hard to make this
Yeah.
negative on you.
Nice.
Yeah. He says, and it all leads to time traveling space whales. You're not going to get me, Joe. You are not going to get me. I will remain positive on this episode. Damn it. I will remain positive. I'm positive of that.
John would start handing out the band hammer if it wouldn't cut us down to 21 viewers.
Right.
They actually just announced today, John, that there was going to be space whales in Ahsoka. I'm kidding.
All right. Well, yeah. I warned you not to bring that up. See, that's one of the benefits of watching the videos rather than listening to it on the podcast, is that you can see when someone, says something obnoxious. I can actually remove them just as kind of like an FU. So that's kind of funny. There's some extra humor there, but
Right.
So that's a positive. The
It's only
benefits of
happened to me
StreamYard.
once. And if you do it now, it doesn't count.
It's at some point, I'm sure someone will get me with it, but
Yeah, I'm sure.
So what is something that Sherrick, why don't you bring one up here, because I know that AJ and Steve and I have done a lot of talking about the sequel trilogy on the show. So what's something that you really kind of took away as like a massive positive?
We haven't even mentioned the throne room scene.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I was sitting on that. I was waiting for the circle to get back to me, and I was going to mention the throne room scene and the Death Star fight in Episode 9. So both of them with Kylo and Rey, both amazing fight scenes.
Yes.
Love both of those scenes.
Yeah, one of the best, like, coolest lightsaber deaths in all of Star Wars, in that throne room scene where, the very last guy, where they,
Catches
throw
the lightsaber.
catch it, and just ignites it, boom, through his face. Like, that was awesome. That was awesome. So
And Ryan showed that you could have an awesome fight with lightsabers included that actually don't touch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that was one of the big
I never
complaints
thought
after Episode 8 was people were saying, "Oh, well, there was no lightsaber battle," and it's like, we had the throne room scene. Like,
Right.
good Lord, like, what else do you want?
But he's right though. I never thought about that. The lightsabers don't. Wow, dude.
Yeah, they never do.
Wow, they really. Wow, I never even thought about that. Nick
I
Hartley
think
agrees.
one of my favorite parts of that is when he pulls it through Snoke.
Oh yeah.
Unexpected.
Yeah, where he's like, Snoke is like feeling it, but then you're seeing it actually happen differently, like it's
Yeah.
actually happening to him.
Mhm.
Yeah, Nick Hartley says best scene in the trilogy was Snoke, so he's on board with that.
Yeah, and it's like the whole scene. It's like the little bits of it that they were doing in slow motion at the beginning and all that. Like, it was just shot. And it was done so well. It really was.
Yeah,
And I loved it for the shock value too, because I don't think anybody expected Snoke to get offed, especially by Kylo in that movie.
Right.
Like,
Especially JJ. I can only imagine his reaction
There it
when he
is.
was watching that. He's like, well, guess it's back to the drawing board.
Yeah. Sure words have never been spoken.
he's just chucking notebooks out the window, like damn it, come on. Yeah, that was super awesome, and I think one of the other great things about that scene was that I don't know how you guys feel about this, but as it was going on, and especially as it was ending, I really wasn't sure if they were gonna have then the two of them were gonna battle, or if they were gonna join up. Like, I was really not sure what was gonna happen. Like, it wasn't. They didn't make it obvious that now they're teamed up, or it's obvious one's fighting with all this hatred, and it's like there's a light side and dark side Jedi in the room. Like, you really weren't sure.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the way they built that tension was just really awesome.
that is one of the cool things about having Rey and Kylo, isn't it? It's like she was kind of trained on the fly, so like she didn't have full mastery, so she was kind of like Luke was in Empire, where he could still fall because he wasn't like locked in. So the same way, and Luke even said it, like you chapped right into the darkness. You didn't even try to stay away from it. So she's like not pure light side, and then he's born of the light but chose the dark side, so he's torn between. So they're both kind of caught on both sides of the spectrum, and they trade back and forth at different times.
Yeah.
It's really cool to not have the straight up like, I'm the good guy, you're the bad guy, let's fight.
Yeah. Right. And like John said, at the end of that scene, you kind of got that feeling of, oh man, like Kylo finally saw, or is kind of leaning towards the light, and then right at the last moment, he reaches his hand out to Rey and says, "Come to the dark side with me." And you sit there in the theater and you go, "Damn it!" Like you really like you got your hopes up that like, oh man, this is turning into something, and then like snap of a finger, it's just like, no, right back to where you thought you were in the beginning.
Yep. Yep.
I mean,
Totally
The Last
agree.
Jedi is full of a lot of great sines.
Yep.
You know what I mean? From
And
beginning,
honestly,
I like the Marvel humor in it. I don't know
Yep.
about you guys, but the whole beginning with Hux, and then
Yep.
Poe turning the X-wing on a dime, like when he
Oh,
did when he turned that X-wing on a dime, I was like, that's badass.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
no,
like out of the three of us that are on the show all the time here, like we've never understood the absolute hatred for The Last Jedi. Like, I mean, I can see some people's arguments as to why they hate that thing the most, but like we've never been on board with that narrative that was the best or the worst damn movie of the bunch. Like the internet tried to make us believe it was for so long.
Right.
Yeah, I've always said that like I really like when Star Wars does something different and surprises me and whatnot. And that whole movie was a total surprise. It was one of those things where I'll never forget leaving the theater and just not being sure of what the heck I just saw. AJ and I both were like, what the heck was that? And not in a bad way. We were just like, and we both said it, like, man, we got to see this a few more times because, like, there's so much to take in. Mm-hmm. And that alone made me love it right off the bat. I was like, this is, the deepest Star Wars movie that there's been. I mean, I love the immediacy of the other stuff where it's just you go in, you sit down for 2.5 hours, it beats the hell out of you, you love it, and you leave, and then you go watch it, 14 more times in the theater and hundreds of times at home, and you memorize things and start a podcast. But, The Last Jedi, you're just kind of like, man, what the heck was that? And I love that about it because that's the only time that they've done that in one of the movies. It was so original.
Yeah,
and
like honestly,
so
I do remember that stuff. Like of the three movies when we all went, like I remember leaving the theater for episode 7. I remember you, John, clearly being angry about what happened to Han. I remember a big ass argument with you and your cousin after episode 9 because he hated the thing for whatever reason. But like I remember
no negatives.
I remember leaving episode 8. We all kind of just like stood outside for a minute. We were like, the hell did we just witness?
Yeah.
It really took a while to just process what was going on by the time we walked out of the theater for that thing.
Yeah.
I feel like when Ryan was writing it, he's like, I'm going to give them a whole bunch of crap they never thought they'd ever see in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see what that does. And you know what? A lot of us loved it. Some people didn't. Critics loved it. But what's crazy is if you compare The Force Awakens to The Last Jedi, you have fans that are like, Force Awakens is too much like A New Hope. Then you give them something different with the next one, and they're like, it's too different.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Was that your way around the loophole of no negativity? Was just visually raising your hand? That's for the benefit of our audio listeners, by the way.
Yes, the slow hand raise.
But John, you never took the difference between 7 and 8 as like a negative. You just really always spoke on it. You thought there could have been more that they could have done with 7, even though we kind of established, even Sherrick said it earlier about how like you kind of needed to do that to bring everybody back in. But it was never like a real negative. You just were, hey, there's 3 movies. You have to like one of them the least, and you just put 7 as that one. That's all. It's not necessarily a negative thing. It just kind of happens that way.
I agree. So, all right. So my next positive, and this is kind of going back to something that we talked about earlier. We discussed how much we love how Luke wasn't same old Luke and didn't do that. Well, I am going to say that I loved how Han was same old Han. He may have had the dad feels, but Han was Han. There wasn't like he was a general, and then all of a sudden he did all this general stuff, and now he was on this bit. No, he was like, nah, I'm going back to being a smuggler. And
the hallway scene when he had Kanji Club and the other guys on the other side, he's standing in between them. He's like, whoa. And he's like trying to talk to the two group. Like that was just hilarious. And it was total old school Han.
Yeah.
What was the second time?
Yeah. What was the second time?
Yeah. And then Chewie's just like,
Chewie's like, it's true.
Yep. Yeah, I just, man, like I have to admit, like I wanted to go to the theater and I wanted to see Han Solo kicking ass, and when I saw Han Solo, he was kicking ass, and that was exactly what I wanted, you know. And same thing with the Millennium Falcon. It was, you know, the way they brought back the Millennium Falcon was amazing, and the Graveyard of Giants is one of the best scenes in all of Star Wars for me. And just flying around and just, you know, destroying things, and just that's what I remembered as a little kid. It was like, you know, 5, 6, 7-year-old me was sitting in that chair. It wasn't, you know, it wasn't 39-year-old me. It was freaking, you know, 5, 6, 7-year-old me just going, yeah, like, and it gave me exactly what I wanted.
Yeah, we spoke on it before that it was like when we saw the trailers and stuff, and you saw the Falcon doing what it was doing, we just automatically assumed Han Chewie, you know, but the fact that it was Rey and Finn, it was just like, it almost made that scene cooler that it was somebody else that was maneuvering the Falcon that way. Like it was still just really, again, another amazing scene that was shot. The graveyard scene was probably, again, it's probably the best damn scene in episode 7, honestly.
Well, I think so, but that
one
I'm
of,
biased,
if not the best one. It really was.
I'm a little biased on that. So
every one of these 3 movies has a fantastic Millennium Falcon scene, and somebody different piloting it every time.
Yep.
Rey doing it in 7. You've got Chewie doing it in 8, and you got Poe doing it in 9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's crazy.
And Lando.
Well, yeah, Lando came in at the end, but I'm thinking of like the intro of 9 where they're having to like hyperspace skip or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Again, another like the Marvel funny moments, like when it finally lands and the damn thing's on fire and stuff like that.
The whole thing.
Everything's on fire.
Everything.
He's like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's all right. Just blow it out. It's good.
You can't light speed skip the Falcon. Well, apparently you can.
Yeah. Right.
All right, AJ. So you're next. What's another one of your positives here?
I'm going to put Nick back up here for a second, actually, because Leia's lightsaber was cool, and he thought the same thing I did. That's why I'm playing favorites here, because I same thing when he was busting out a lightsaber and we hadn't seen the green lightsaber yet. I was like, oh, it's time. We're going to see the green lightsaber. Yeah. And it was a fun swerve, actually, to find out that wasn't actually the case. But, you know, we did get hints of it, and we did see it in a flashback. So I'm good with seeing the green lightsaber in some capacity. That was very cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anybody else fans of Leia being a trained Jedi at this point?
Yes.
Yeah.
I assume
I'm a fan of Space Leia.
Ooh. This is going to be interesting.
All right, there we go. And Sherritt gets removed again.
Now, if this was soccer, he would be out now, right? I mean, 2 yellows and you're gone.
Yeah, that's a red card.
Matt, you'll be allowed back on the show
positive.
when you can start.
We're talking positives here.
Act like an adult. What the hell? You brought up Leia's, like Space Leia. Joe's bringing up the space whales. What are you guys trying to do to me here? Hell, what do you guys? You even said something about, oh, I kind of like Rebels or whatever. It's like, damn it! Like, what are you guys doing?
Man, that Resistance was a great show, wasn't it?
Oh, jeez.
Who's up for a Droids cartoon marathon?
I'm gonna go watch the holiday special when we're done here.
All right, so what did you like about Space Leia? If we're gonna be positive, we're really gonna push the envelope.
Right?
Just seeing Leia use the Force. Finally. You know what I mean? Like, I get it looked a little wonky, but just the idea to show how powerful she is in the Force. Hey, it's all subjective, bro.
It is.
John's gonna explode.
Yeah. I'll just leave it as if you go back in the archives, I had a pretty good rant about the Carrie Poppins thing back when it happened. And I think I'm just going to leave it at that.
Is John froze?
No, I think he's.
Yeah. Which
I think he's completely dumped on. No, there he is.
JT, that thumbnail freeze of yours was almost as good as your driver's license.
Yes.
Everybody froze on me. See, this is what happens when you bring up space whales and space Leia.
Here's
You
the thing.
screw up. My internet
Here's the
is like,
thing.
nope.
Yeah, I can't talk negative stuff, so I can't tell you what I didn't like about the space Leia scene. All I can tell you is what I liked about it.
She survived. There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that. Oh, that's just. Eesh.
I can just see the text now after this show's over.
Yeah.
Look at that. Joe agrees with you. Thank you, Sherrick. Leia
Thank
always
you.
had powers in the Leia always had powers in the comics and books and video games. It was nice to actually see it on film one time.
Positive,
Cool.
John. Positive. There you go, buddy.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't think we can ban anyone from our YouTube channel, JT.
Watch, I can remove Joe. There, your comment's off the screen again. So here's an interesting one that Joe mentioned a little bit earlier. The Traitor fight was a high point for me. Traitor, when Finn actually battles, another stormtrooper. So Joe, in the comments, explain why that was a high point. It seems like kind of like a, just kind of skip by kind of a moment. Like, what was it about that? I mean, it was cool. I mean, they had, that whole lightsaber proof baton, the riot baton. So that was pretty cool.
I never did buy that thing either. They came out with the Black Series one, and
Yeah.
I wanted it, and I never went and got the stupid thing.
Oh,
Now
you
I'm
called it a
kinda-
stupid thing. That's a negative. You called it a stupid thing.
Now I'm kind of thinking I need to go buy it. I'll look it up on eBay while you guys are talking.
Yeah, right. All right. So, Steve. So
Yes.
let's get you back in here because AJ had his. He agreed with Nick in the Leia's lightsaber and stuff like that. So what do you got? We'll each do one more.
I just found Riot Baton on eBay for $68. That's not bad.
All right. Well, you just wasted your turn.
Honestly, like I said earlier, I'm kind of piggybacking on Sherrick about the throne room and the Death Star scene in Episode 9. Those lightsaber battles were definite high points for me in those movies. They really were, especially compared to the one in Episode 7. Like, again, positivity. We loved the graveyard and all that. Was not a huge fan of the lightsaber battle in 7, but 8 and 9 were amazing. And honestly, 8, they might be kind of up there with all of Star Wars through the 9 movies. Kind of up there.
Okay.
Good point. We
Like,
talked
I
about
think
that and how each era has its own style, but yeah,
Yeah.
they definitely improved over time.
Absolutely.
Totally agree. So Joe, Joseph Wren actually answered our question. He says, you're asking this is about the whole riot baton fight with, Finn and the Stormtrooper. He says, you're asking questions if Finn is going to be your Jedi character, but you don't know for sure. If you completely remove the Jedi from the lightsaber and give it to a soldier, he uses it in a fight. Okay. And he says, so even if Finn has no force sensitivity at that point in the movie, he can still pick up a sword and win a fight. That's cool. Okay. I'll go along with that. Personally, I just assumed that he wasn't a Jedi. I kind of figured he was, I say like a garbage man that just he turned from a bad guy to a good guy. But I could totally see that, given that he all of a sudden was starting to at least try and kick ass with a lightsaber. So I could see that. I could see that explanation. So that's good. All right, Sherrick, one more for you.
I love the beginning of the Rise of Skywalker on Exegol.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to
Yeah.
hear Sheev talking, I've been every voice in your head, and it changes like
To
the
Snoke and
Vader
Vader.
and Snoke. I mean, that was, and just I look, man, I love all of Star Wars, but I love the dark side, dude. And when they announced Sheev coming back, I was like, finally, more Sith, more dark stuff. You know what I mean? Like stuff that from the original trilogy that I wanted to see, and it was so dark. I mean, it was like horror kind of made its way into Star Wars, and it was awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
they literally animated a corpse. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
a bunch of Snokes in a tank,
Yep, and I'm totally with you on that too, because I'm the guy on the show that has totally gone on record as saying that the end of Rogue One is the greatest scene in all of Star Wars. So anytime that anybody
I love
brings
it.
up anything about the dark side doing something good, I'm about that life. So
I love that scene, by the way.
yeah,
Nick Hartley-
that scene should have been about 25 minutes longer.
Nick Hartley is completely on board. Just one giant yes.
Yep.
Hell, even the opening crawl. The first line of the opening crawl, the dead speak. Like, whoa.
I was like,
Like, I
oh,
did
we're
not beat
we're
around the
getting
bush
off.
at all.
We're not wasting any time.
Yep. That was definitely Okay, so here's okay. I got to bring up this analogy. See if you guys. I don't know if you guys will get this. So Nick says, seeing the Snokes in the tank, seeing Palps on that robot arm device, presumably keeping him alive. Am I the only one when you see that robot arm thing that's doing that? Like, am I the only one that pictured Hellraiser 2?
Gosh, it's been so long
Okay.
since I've seen that, but yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Now that
What's
you
it-
mentioned it,
now
What-
I
what's-
can picture it.
What's his name?
it
Dr.
cannot be unseen now.
Yeah.
Right.
The doctor is in. I recommend amputation. That's the horror of it. They were combining everything. So, all right, AJ. So one more for you.
All right. I didn't actually have one prepared. I didn't know it was going to be my turn, but I can pull, no problem. I'm just going to have to be a shill for Last Jedi one last time. The fact that it's amazing that Rian Johnson took what we got in Force Awakens and went in a completely different direction than people thought was going to happen. Yet, in hindsight, it still ties together. We still got Yoda coming back, teaching Luke one last time. We got more prequel lore or pre-prequel lore with like the origins of the Jedi, and then like Luke kind of sums up how they fell in the prequels. Like, it really did tie all the eras of Star Wars together. It was like the rug in the dude's apartment. But yeah, it also pushed the boundaries too. It said, like, here's the parts that you know and love, but here's some ways you didn't expect things to go at the same time. I thought it was fantastic, right down to Finn. Like, a lot of people like to crap on Finn and the failed trip to Canto Bight, but like, people forget that all he was trying to do in 7 was get the hell away.
Yeah.
Like, that was his entire story arc, except for going and trying to save Rey at the end from Kylo. Other than that, he was just trying to leave, man.
Yeah.
Right.
So picking that up in 8 was actually like a perfect thing for him to be like inspecting the escape pod, be like, yeah, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
Like,
He's
that's
still
true
trying
to his
to
character.
Yep.
And real quick, another piggyback off of what Sherrick said, the beginning of episode 9 with Palpatine doing all the voices, saying you are everything, flipping it around on the other side of the coin at the end of the movie when Rey heard all the Jedi voices and everything to like bring that back around into another full circle thing. That was another really good part of that movie too.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys are going to make me go rewatch that movie because it's the
I was
one
just
I've seen
thinking the same thing.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. Like, and I keep wanting to rewatch it in my VR headset because that probably is the best looking 3D VR movie that I have.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I
Oh,
couldn't
man.
believe it. When I watched it, I was like, just like, wow.
Here,
Oh my
here I'm
God,
gonna
that's
move
so
this
good.
with my foot, John, right here, so I can get it.
Uh-oh. All right, what are we doing? Oh, look at that. There you go.
So
You got the Oculus. I forgot.
Nice.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna close this out.
Hold on, John. I
reaching
got
for anything
one,
fun, just
one
a beer.
last thing because I'm curious as if this didn't
Okay.
get brought up because you guys aren't a fan. So no negativity.
Okay.
We're dumb, so we probably just forgot. So
That's
There's
He's
actually
right.
too much to cram into an hour. We could do this again.
Right.
Yeah.
Light speed as a weapon.
Oh yes.
Oh,
I
Holdo
loved it.
maneuver.
no!
And-
The hold-up
yes.
maneuver
The
was
hold-up maneuver.
amazing.
And
Yes.
the sound stops.
Yep.
Like when the sound stopped, I
Again,
was just
Uh-huh.
like, what?
yeah, the slow motion going through the dude. Totally forgot about that. Again, I was
Yeah.
right. Totally just dumb and forgot about that. Great scene.
Yeah.
You both nailed it. Hold on maneuver, yes. Steve nailed it in terms of we're stupid and forgot.
Yep.
Yeah, that was again, that's one of those
You didn't even finish the sentence, and I saw it in my head, and I'm like, how did I forget that?
Yeah. Dude, it was again, that's one of those super original things that they did in episode 8 that Nick Hartley says Radis.
Nice.
Nick
That's
says
great.
Radis damn near killed him. Well played, Nick. Well played, man.
Oh man. We should have made this what we love per episode. We could have made 3 shows out of this, guys.
Yeah, we're apparently we're gonna have to. We have to go in depth.
Again,
We have
we're
to
dumb, and we don't think about these things.
So we'll have to re-listen to this and write down the stuff we already mentioned, so we don't repeat ourselves. So there you go. But
Now, that
anyway,
sounds like a lot of work.
we know how much you like doing work for the show.
Yep. Come on. It's been 5 years. When have we ever done show prep?
AJ did once, and he got absolutely shelled for it on that.
Right,
Awesome.
exactly. No more. Never again.
Yeah.
Well, that's not worth doing. Cross that off the list.
Yeah, that was the awesome episode where we determined that the Millennium Falcon was all banged up because Han was a drunk driver, and that and that it's all yellowed inside because they were all smoking cools everywhere. Yep. And the thumbnail of the show, one of AJ's best ever, is Chewie's bandolier, and it's full of nothing but packs of cools.
You can thank Steve for that.
Now, I was going to say, you say that's one of his best ones, and that was the only thumbnail I ever made from the show.
Oh, well, okay. Well, there's a positive. There you go.
And I made it on a cell phone.
Oh, hey, all right. So, 1 subscriber with 100 vids challenge just tuned in. What's up, gentlemen? Just tuned in.
I think we won that challenge.
Yeah, I think we got you beat there, buddy. But what's up, man? Thanks for checking out the show. We are at the end, but we are here every other Wednesday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah.
We also have another oddball show coming up sometime soon, right, guys?
Yes, we will
on a
be
weekend.
doing. Yeah,
We absolutely should.
Sherrick, you could jump in on that with us if you want. We're doing cards against Star Wars live on the air. So
Nice.
we're trying to figure out how to get someone to judge who's gonna who gets the point. But look at Steve's got his at the ready.
Yeah,
Nice.
he's all set. He's been chomping at the bit for a while now.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so I will give the final one, and this kind of echoes. Everything comes full circle. Kind of echoes, one of the original points. But I'm gonna say one of the biggest positive for me, actually, of the sequel trilogy, is that it exists. Not only because we did get more Star Wars when we didn't think we would, but the way the movie industry is going after the pandemic and whatnot, it may be the last Star Wars we may ever get to see in an actual theater, with that experience of all of us getting together with our friends on opening night and having drinks and dinner and just sitting there like, oh my God, just waiting for it. And, going forward, it may just be hey, we have to watch it streaming on our television. So for that reason, I'm really glad that it exists, because if it didn't, and then they decided to do Star Wars later. I mean, let's be honest. The fact that it exists rekindled everyone's interest in Star Wars, which gave birth to stuff like Disney Plus and The Mandalorian and everything. So, the fact that these movies proved the everlasting popularity of Star Wars gave us everything that has come after. So whether you love them or hate them, you have to love the fact that it basically brought Star Wars back to life in terms of, content and medium and stuff like that. I love that about it. It's, love it.
Yeah.
The franchise needed a fresh chunk of new stories, and that's what we got.
Yep.
And I always look at this new trilogy too, like there's little kids right now that this is their Star Wars.
Yep.
And there's little girls that look up to Rey like we looked at Luke and Han. You know what I mean? And
Completely
so
agree.
and there's minorities that look up to Finn. You know what I mean? So to me,
Rose
it
Tico,
just
yeah.
and Rose, yeah, they
Yep.
they opened the galaxy to more people of color, of gender, and to me, that's awesome. I mean, that's the world we live in now. You know,
Yep.
and so like when I see all the negativity about Star Wars, I'm like, come on, man. Like, there's a bunch of kids right now that they love this, you know, and they're dressing up as Rey and Finn and Poe for Halloween. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
that's their Star Wars.
right,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it's, you know, the best thing about it is, like, you know, you'll see on Twitter and stuff that vocal minority of the fans that are, you know, SJW this, that, and the other, and it's like, but you know, like, I never really noticed it because to me it was just a really cool Star Wars story, but there are
Yep.
plenty of people that do see those things and still just kind of see it as a really cool Star Wars story, but more expansive, inclusive Star Wars story. So I think they did expand everything, like you said, Sherrick, but they did it in such a way so as not to alienate a massive piece of the fan base. You know,
Right.
it was just
It felt
something that,
natural.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but like, you know, Steve, you mentioned Ray. I think that's the perfect example is that, you know, I've said before, like growing up, like I didn't really care about Princess Leia. I was a little kid. I was interested in Han Solo, you know?
Yeah.
And so when they came out and, you know, it was a very forward thinking thing to center this whole trilogy around a female character rather than a male character. I didn't even notice. It never registered with me. I was just like, okay, this is the new good guy. Like I never ever looked at it in terms of gender or anything like that. And I mean, I think that just speaks volumes to how well these things are written and how ingrained in, you know, pop culture they are and how much it really means to us as fans, because so many people, you know, didn't sit down and go, oh, that's a woman. They just went, oh, that's the good guy. You know,
Yeah.
there
Right.
are no boundaries in Star Wars, and I love that.
Yep.
So cool. All right, well, Sherrick, thanks for coming on, man. Much
Man,
appreciated.
I had
We'll
a
have
blast, guys. I appreciate it.
yeah, anytime, man. We'll have to do this
Love to
again.
do it again.
Yeah, for sure, man. Sorry for the technical difficulties this week, guys. I'll have to figure out why Facebook has decided to be an a-hole to me. There's my negative for the night.
Negativity.
Facebook is an a-hole, but you know, what the hell? So there you go. But
It all comes full circle, brother.
it definitely does. Right? So anyways, thanks for jumping in on another episode of the Nerfherder Council, everyone. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. Nick Hartley, thanks for jumping in with us. Much appreciated. We'll see you next time. Don't forget that you can get your own customized Nerfherder Council swag like AJ and I are wearing. As you can see, there are multiple designs. You can get them in multiple colors, all sorts of combinations and stuff. Just go to shop.nerfherdercouncil.com and you can pick out anything your little heart desires. If you are checking this out on video and you want to listen back on audio, just basically Google Nerfherder Council. We're pretty much everywhere you can find podcasts. The website's nerfherdercouncil.com. And
Got a couple requests for our fans, though.
Okay.
All right, bailing you out here on the social media stuff, John.
I forgot again. Damn it.
So YouTube is big on the likes and the subscribes, so definitely give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, I just bought an iPad this last week, so I finally have an Apple device. So I went on Apple Podcasts, and we have lifetime 17 ratings total and 5 whole reviews. So
There we go.
Yeah.
yeah, if you want, we're 5 stars though, so that's cool. But
okay.
if you want more people to find the show, make sure you do go on your podcasting platforms and submit at least a rating, if not also a review. It will help us grow the show more, and we'll have more people tossing in their good vibes on these shows coming up.
Yep, totally agree. And click the like and subscribe button so that you can get notified with a little ping whenever we go live and do a show like this. See, I got that one, AJ. I'm learning. But
like the Facebook page, so you might get to see us on Facebook.
Exactly. And you can you can go ahead and follow us on Twitter at NHC Podcast. So, Sherrick, do you have a Twitter account that you would like to plug?
Nope.
Nope. Okay. So he's Sherrick at not on Twitter. So
Right. I'm actually.
I think
on
that was
Twitter,
a
but
negative.
I
Punt
never
Yeah.
use it. I should
Okay,
just get rid of it.
he probably doesn't remember what it is.
Yeah.
At I don't know what my handle is.
That's it.
So
At something.
yeah. All right, so we will see you guys in 2 weeks. Again, we are here every other Wednesday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So it will be Wednesday, March 17th.
St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day. So please feel free to come in, and whether or not you're hammered, drunk, or whatever, I will not be. So that won't be my thing. But anyway, we'll catch you guys next time. Once again, I'm your host, JT at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ.
At Drake Adams 579.
He is Steve.
At Nerfherder Steve.
And that is my good buddy Sherrick. And we will catch you next